We chase the clock, burning out in endless grind, while they move through the wild like whispers on the wind, hunting not as labor, but as life's quiet rhythm. Imagine a world where survival isn't a battle, but a seamless dance with the earth itself, free from the myth of hard work that chains us all. What if their effortless flow holds the key to reclaiming your own stolen peace? Stay with me, because uncovering this ancient secret might just rewrite the story of your everyday. Close your eyes for a moment and let the scent of damp earth and pine needles fill your lungs. Picture yourself not in a cubicle's fluorescent hum, but awakening under a canopy of stars that fade into a blush of sunrise. This is the world of the sand people of the Kalahari, those ancient wanderers of southern Africa's endless sands and thorn-scattered plains. For over 20,000 years, they've roamed where lions prowl and monsoons carve rivers from dust, yet their days unfold not in frantic toil, but in a fluid harmony that Western minds, wired for hustle, can scarcely comprehend. Here, the line between work and living dissolves like mist at noon. A sand woman rises with the first light, her bare feet kissing the red soil as she gathers mongongo nuts from low branches, fruits that crack open with a satisfying snap, their buttery kernels a gift from trees that demand nothing in return. Nearby, a man crouches low, his eyes tracing the subtle bend of grass blades, not as a chore, but as an extension of breath itself. They call this flow, a state where effort isn't forced, but invited, like water finding its way downhill. In our world, we segment life into silos, the grind of the office, the relief of weekend barbecues. But for the San, every step is sacred, every glance a conversation with the land. Their secret, time isn't a tyrant to conquer, it's a river they swim alongside, patient and profound. This isn't romantic fantasy, it's etched in their bones, passed down through generations in songs hummed around flickering fires. And as we peel back these layers, you'll see how their laziness, as colonizers once sneered, is actually the pinnacle of efficiency, a life where energy is conserved like rainwater in a parched wadi, spent only where it blooms into sustenance. But how do they attune to this rhythm? Hold that thought, because in the heart of the hunt, their philosophy of time reveals itself like a hidden spring. Imagine time not as a straight arrow piercing your calendar, but as a meandering river, sometimes swift, sometimes pooling deep for reflection. For the San, this is no metaphor, it's the pulse of existence. They don't parcel days into hours or weeks into quotas. Instead, they follow the now time, a fluid present where past wisdom and future hopes braid together like vines on a baobab tree. A hunt might stretch from dawn's hush to dusk's velvet embrace, but it's measured not by the sun's arc, but by the stories shared in the pauses, the laughter echoing as a tracker mimics a gazelle's limp to amuse the children trailing behind. Wealth, too, flows differently in their veins. To us, it's gold in vaults or digits on screens, hoarded against tomorrow's storms. But the sands see abundance in the shared kill, the eland's haunch divided equally under the stars, its sinews woven into sinew-strong bonds. What is mine is ours, an elder once murmured to anthropologists, his voice like gravel underfoot. Their economy thrives on reciprocity, a nut traded for a tale, a healing root for a song, ensuring no one starves while another swells. Hard work, it's a foreign ghost, a spectre born of scarcity we invented to justify our chains. In their view, forcing effort against the land's whim is like yelling at the wind, foolish, exhausting, futile. Instead, they yield, observing how a beetle's burrow predicts rain or a bird's cry signals hidden water. This philosophy isn't passive, it's profoundly active, a quiet rebellion against the urgency that devours our spirits. Feel that pull yet, the way their time bends to life's curve, inviting rather than imposing. As we lean deeper into their days, we'll uncover the hidden arts that make this possible, the subtle reeds of earth and sky that turn survival into symphony. But first, linger here. What if your next deadline could feel as natural as a sand child's first steps across the sand? Now step softly into the hush of midday, where heat shimmers like a dream over cracked earth. Watch as a sand tracker kneels, fingers brushing a faint hoofprint etched in dust, not a scar, but a story. This is their hidden lore, reading the land's autobiography, where every snapped twig whispers direction, every scat's moisture hints at thirst quenched or unquenched. It's not magic, but mastery honed over millennia, a non-verbal dialogue with the world, where humans become conduits rather than conquerors. A slight scuff in the soil, the antelope veered left at dawn, belly full from acacia pods. A feather's angle, The eagle rode thermals from the east, promising cooler winds by eve. Deeper still lies their communion with kin. Words are sparse, like water in drought. Instead, they speak in glances and gestures, a lexicon of the unspoken. A raised eyebrow during a hunt signals patience, a subtle hand wave circle wide. Families move as one organism, elders nods guiding youth without command, fostering a trust that binds tighter than any contract. This knowledge isn't hoarded in books or apps. It's lived, passed palm to palm around the fire, where a grandmother's mimicry of wind through grass teaches meteorology as play. In our rush, we miss these threads. The smartphone's ping drowning the rustle of leaves that could have warned of storm. The sand's efficiency blooms from this attunement. Energy flows where intuition leads, leaving no room for wasteful strain. But here's the spark that ignites it all. Beneath these skills hums an emotional current, a way of dancing with the wild's raw edges. As the sun dips low and shadows stretch like old friends, we'll trace how they embrace fear not as foe, but as fierce teacher, pulling you into a chapter where joy and peril entwine like lovers in the thorn bush. Dusk falls like a soft blanket over the encampment, flames leaping in a circle of gathered faces, casting golden flickers on skin etched by sun and story. Here in the sand's emotional hearth, fear isn't the monster under the bed, it's the spark that sharpens the spear. A lion's distant roar, not panic's cue, but a call to circle closer, voices rising in trance dances that shake the stars, transforming terror into communal strength. Joy too erupts unbidden, the whoop of a successful snare, shared with thigh slaps and guttural laughs that ripple like pebbles in a pool, binding the group in waves of release. Their cycle of life and death pulses with this grace, no sanitized grief, but a raw honoring. When an elder slips into the ancestor's fold, the band doesn't mourn in isolation. They sing her spirit back to the land, scattering her favorite roots as offerings, her stories woven into the next hunt's lore. Births arrive with the same unguarded wonder, a newborn's cry met with songs that mimic the mewling of spring hares, blurring lines between human and wild kin. This isn't stoicism's cold mask, it's an embrace of flux, where emotions flow free as the ephemeral rivers after rain. In our world, we bottle joy in vacations, fear in therapy sessions, compartments that leak and leave us parched. The sand teaches us to let it all pour, finding resilience in the pour itself. Yet this emotional river doesn't carve alone. It's fed by the land's own medicines, secrets that heal body and soul without the grind of extraction. As embers glow and night creatures stir, imagine sipping a brew from roots that quiet the mind's storm, drawing you toward the green wisdom that sustains their boundless flow. Lean in now to the rustle of leaves under moonlight, where a sand healer, eyes half closed, hands steady as ancient stone, crushes devil's claw tubers into a paste that soothes joints worn by miles. Their pharmacopoeia isn't a shelf of pills, but the very soil beniathfoot, Hoodia cactus to curb a hunger born of lean moons, serpentwood bark to steady a racing heart after close calls with hyena packs. These aren't random picks, they're dialogues with plants, learned through trial and the elder's unerring touch, tasting sap's bitterness to divine its fever-breaking bite, or noting how a flower's bloom aligns with a wound's need for cooling salve. This knowledge elevates survival to artistry, where medicine mends not just flesh, but the frayed edges of spirit. A child feverish from scorpion's sting, a poultice of bucku leaves, infused with chants that call rain spirits for mercy, turning agony into alliance. Community weaves through it all, gathering as ritual, where laughter lightens the labor, ensuring no one bears the burden alone. We chase cures in labs and lotions, dissecting nature into commodities, but the sand invite it whole, a holistic flow where healing honors the giver as much as the given. Effort here, it's eclipsed by reverence, a gentle coaxing rather than conquest. And as these remedies restore the body, they mirror the grander harmony, a philosophy where wealth circles back to the earth. But wait, how does this all knit into the fabric of daily hunts, turning peril into poetry? The fire's glow beckons us onward, to the chase that reveals their true mastery. Dawn breaks again, but this time with purpose, a persistence hunt unfolding like a slow-burning poem. A sand band spots an oryx in the haze, its flanks heaving under the sun's glare. No frantic pursuit, they trot in relay, one shadowing while another rests in shade, mirroring the animal's own rhythm until exhaustion claims it, not as cruelty, but as nature's equitable exchange. Community is the vessel, roles fluid, elders advising with a nod, youth learning by osmosis, every member a thread in the web that catches the kill. Wealth emerges here, not in the meat alone, but in the feast that follows, stories unfurling like smoke signals, reinforcing ties that outlast any ledger. This dismantles our hard work idle utterly. To them, it's a delusion of disconnection, pushing against the world when you could persuade it with patience. Their efficiency stuns scientists. Caloric output minimal, yields maximal, all because effort aligns with ecology, not ego. Time circles in seasons of plenty and want, community as buffer, turning potential drudgery into shared sacrament. Joy in the kill, yes, but laced with gratitude's hush, a bow to the ancestors who taught this dance. As the sun climbs, feel the weight lift, their flow as antidote to our frenzy. Yet bridges must be built. How might we, in concrete jungles, sip from this well? Now, as the narrative arcs toward home, carry these embers back to your own horizon. The sand's flow isn't locked in the Kalahari. It's a blueprint for reclaiming the effortless amid our chaos. Start small, let time meander in a walk without watch. Read the tracks of your breath to gauge true need over noise. Trade hoarded hours for communal fires, dinner tables where stories trump screens, wealth measured in connections forged. Face fear in microdoses, that looming email, approach it as a hunt, patient and attuned, joy bubbling in the release. Their medicine, seek the plants in your patch, mindful breaths as roots, gratitude journals as salves. Community, weave it deliberately, turning neighbors into bandmates against isolation's stealth. Hard work fades when flow takes hold, efficiency born of alignment, not armor. This ancient wisdom whispers that your 9 to 5 could soften into something sacred, if only you listen to the river within. And so, as stars reclaim the sky and the sands settle into dreams woven from the day's weave, we arrive at the quiet truth. Their effortless life isn't easier, it's deeper, demanding a surrender we moderns have long forgotten. In yielding to the flow, they thrive where we merely endure. What thread will you pull first? Let this be your invitation. Step into the wild of your own heart, hunt not for conquest, but for the harmony that awaits. May your days henceforth ripple with their timeless grace.